All right, today we are cracking open one of the biggest mysteries in modern finance. We're diving deep into Rishi K. Narang's book to go inside the black box and get a really simple, straightforward guide to the world of quantitative trading.
So, have you ever stopped and wondered what's really pulling the levers in the global markets? I mean, we see the headlines, we see the charts go up and down, but behind all that noise, there's this massive and mostly invisible force at work. It's like a giant automated machine making decisions faster than we can even blink.
And that's exactly what it is, a vast, invisible machine. We're talking about automated trading systems. You've probably heard them called black boxes. And these things are responsible for a huge chunk of all the trades happening around the globe every single second of the day.
So, to really get a handle on this, we've got to demystify this whole idea of the mysterious black box. First things first, forget everything you think you know from the movies about trading floors. The book introduces us to a guy named John, who's your typical quant trader, and his world, it's not chaos. There's no shouting. It's quiet. It's focused. He's not staring at flashing stock tickers. He's just monitoring the health of his system. It's a completely different universe.
So what is quant trading really? Well, at its core, quant trading is all about using math and computer algorithms to spot patterns in the market. Then you let automated systems do the actual buying and selling. It's all about being systematic and research-driven, specifically to get human emotion out of the picture.
Okay, so now let's actually crack open that black box and take a look inside. How does this whole trading machine really work?
A full quant system is basically built from 5 main parts that all have to work together. It kicks off with the alpha model. Its job is to predict what's going to happen next to find the opportunity. That idea then gets run through a risk model to make sure you don't lose your shirt. After that, the transaction cost and portfolio construction models team up to figure out the smartest, most efficient way to put the trades together. And then finally, the execution model takes that whole plan and actually, does it in the real market.
The best way to think about it is like a high-performance car. The alpha model, that's the engine, always searching for profit. The risk model, well, that's the brakes, keeping everything from flying off the road. The transaction and portfolio models are kind of like the GPS in the suspension. They plan the best route and make sure the ride is smooth. And the execution model, that's the hands on the steering wheel, executing the plan perfectly. Every single part has a job to do.
Okay, so let's zoom in on the most critical part of that machine, the engine. This is where we get into the quest for what quants call alpha, which is the real source of any potential profit.
So what on earth is alpha? Put simply, it's your edge. It's the profit you make that has absolutely nothing to do with whether the S&P 500 went up or down that day. It's the unique value that your strategy, and only your strategy, brings to the table. And let me tell you, finding a consistent source of alpha, that's the holy grail in the quant world.
Now, quants usually take one of 2 main paths to find this alpha. The most common one is called theory-driven. This is where you start with an idea, an economic theory, like, hey, cheap stocks tend to do better over time. And then you use a ton of data to see if it's true. The other path is data-driven. That's where you just feed a supercomputer mountains of data and tell it to find patterns for you, even if you have no idea why those patterns exist.
And within that theory-driven world, there's a whole universe of different strategies. You've got models that follow trends, basically betting that what's going up will keep going up. Then you've got mean reversion, which bets that things will eventually snap back to their average. Some models look at sentiment from the news, others look for classic signals of value or quality. Each one is just a different lens to look at the market through.
But here's the thing. This isn't just about Wall Street and super complex math. The principles that make these quants so successful, well, they can actually teach all of us a thing or two about making better decisions. Because seriously, you do not need a PhD in physics to start thinking like a quant. The core logic they use can be applied to your own life, whether you're investing or just trying to make any other big decision.
So, lesson number 1 is the incredible benefit of deep thought. Instead of just going with your gut, quants are forced to map out their entire strategy with painstaking detail. And that process forces a level of thoroughness that, let's be honest, most of us rarely apply.
Second, quants teach us to be super intentional about the risks we take. See, it's not about avoiding risk completely. No, it's about knowing exactly what risks you're taking and why you're taking them, and making sure they line up perfectly with whatever your unique advantage is.
And finally, lesson number 3 is all about disciplined implementation. By building a system and then actually sticking to it, quants manage to remove the biggest enemies of good investing:
fear and greed. The system is what keeps them on track for the long haul.
So, after all this talk of algorithms and automation, it's pretty easy to think that the human is just becoming obsolete, right? But the reality? Oh, the reality is so much more interesting than that. Because here's the secret. The best quant trading isn't a machine running wild. It's a powerful partnership. It is a systematic, data-first approach that is designed, guided, and constantly checked by critical human judgment. The human creates the strategy, the machine just executes it perfectly, without any emotion getting in the way.
And that leaves us with this huge question for the future, doesn't it? As these systems get smarter and more powerful, where's the right balance? Is the future of investing all about gut feelings and human instinct? Or is it pure cold machine logic? Or, as the quants seem to be showing us, is the real magic found somewhere in between?